Let's take a minute to look at some of the odd weather we've had this year. It was a record-breaking winter in the Northeast with multiple snowstorms that last season, including that huge nor'easter and a blizzard. It was the deadliest year for tornadoes since 1936. Tornadoes killed more than 500 people from Alabama to Missouri. Springtime flooding on the Mississippi River was some of the worst ever. And this summer we saw record droughts and wildfires in the south and west. Then Hurricane Irene slammed the East Coast, followed by this weekend's rare October snowstorm. So what is happening here? Here to try to help us answer that question is Sanjayan, lead scientist of the Nature Conservatory. He joins us from Seattle. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff.
So what is happening? You say it's a couple things, right?
Right. So, Jeff, there's probably two things going on. The first is it's a La Nina year, which means the Pacific is pretty cold in terms of the ocean, and that changes the air patterns around the continent of the United States. The second thing is it's probably some effects of climate change. It's just making these storms more intense and more frequent.
And that will continue.
Well, on the climate change side, absolutely, it's going to continue. So we're going to be in for more wacky weather, if you like. On the La Nina front, we're not sure. We think there's going to be another La Nina year this year. I, for one, I'm buying my ski passes already.
We're seeing these pictures of snow right now. We obviously saw this unusual snowfall total in many parts of the Northeast, in some cases more than 2 feet. Are you expecting a lot of snow this season? Can that be predicted?
Well, La Nina years tend to bring snow, particularly to the north part of the country, and particularly the northwest part of the country. But any one event is very difficult to predict. See, scientists are really good at thinking about climate, but they're not so good about thinking about weather, which is what most people ultimately care about. What are you going to dress your kids up in when they go out trick-or-treating tonight? Yeah,
we should differentiate here between climate and weather. Two different things.
Sure. Sure, two different things. And, one is what you're going to do tomorrow, and the other is what part of the country do you live in if you want to go skiing. Climate is a long-term phenomenon. It sets the expectation or the new norm. And, weather is what happens on a daily or weekly basis. Now, we know climate change impacts climate. How it impacts specific weather events, it's hard to say.
When was the last time we saw La Nina this significant?
Probably about 5 years ago. What's going to happen this year, which is sort of unusual with La Nina, is that it might be a back-to-back year of La Nina, and that back-to-back sort of sends that extra signal out there.
Other than carrying around the snow boots and gloves and everything else, anything we can do to be better prepared?
Sure. I mean, I think that's a really good, look, we always talk about these 100-year events. Well, they're happening more and more frequently now. So absolutely be prepared. Don't be caught off guard. But beyond that, groups like the Nature Conservatory and others are working to help communities prepare for unusual events. And the best preparation, frankly, over the long term is dealing with creating natural infrastructure. So, seagrass beds, intact coastlines, floodplains in the Midwest, natural areas that can buffer us against extreme weather events. Natural infrastructure is just going to last longer and ultimately cheaper than any kind of engineering that we can do.
Sanjayan, lead scientist from the Nature Conservatory, joining us from Seattle. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.